Hello, welcome everyone, my dear kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters here in the continent, and to those who are in the diaspora. I'm working in our beautiful garden here to improve some things and also to try to cover the area with grasses to protect it from sunlight. You know, kings and queens, I'm here to share what is going viral on social media concerning about the issue of Bill Gates being involved in cattle vaccination in Kenya. You know, after Africans, many of us being vaccinated during the COVID-19, now the West have trying to turn into kettles. So there's a rumors of Bill Gates being involved in cattle vaccination in Kenya, but the government has denied those claims and saying those are just propaganda. Bill Gates is not involved in cattle vaccination, so the people of Kenya should not be worried about such kind of vaccination. It is a program of the government of Kenya to vaccinate their cattle and to make sure that they protect the cattle of Kenya from some diseases. But why the people of Kenya are fearing Bill Gates? And of course, all of us, we know very well that Bill Gates is the one who introduced GMO food and GMO seeds, and he's making a lot of money through these kind of seeds, or these GMO seeds, GMO foods, and drugs in general. But so, kings and queens, you know, in Africa, cattle are being used for agriculture. Cattle are being used for producing milk, and you know very well that there's those who are selling this what we call powder milk. So also there's those who are selling food to Africa. So if we are going to destroy the cattle in Africa, it means we are going to affect agriculture, because those who are using cattle for agriculture, for cultivation, are going to be affected. Those who are getting milk are going to be affected. So those who are producing food, for instance GMO food, they are going to sell food, because our agriculture instruments or our agriculture production are going to be destroyed, because cattle are going to be weak and sometimes they can disappear. So it means Africa, we are going to be affected. At a long-term plan, Africans cannot feed ourselves. So those who want Africans to consume GMO food will be succeeded. You see, in terms of milk, it's the same. That Africa, we use our own milk here through cattle, but there's those who don't have cattle like Africa. They use this what we call powder milk. So it means after a certain time, Africa, we are going to consume this powder milk that is not in our normal life. So I think Africans, we need to be vigilant, to be careful about some plans that have been introduced to us by others. Of course, they have good intention, but we need also to be careful. We need to be careful because you see, people are just lamenting, and people are not crazy. People are not mad to think that why Bill Gates, why not others, why Bill Gates. People are not mad. So we must understand that people are seeing things, and sometimes they have been told by people who are inside the system that someone is the one who is going to do this and this. And Africans, as I said, we need to be vigilant and to see what we can do. You know, my dear Africans, in Africa, to find someone or family living with their chickens, their cattle in a single area or in a room, it is normal. You find someone is sleeping on the bed, but under the bed you find chickens living there. It is normal in Africa. But when people want to make money with Africa, they come up with those kind of flus. You find that there's these bird flus and many things. And of course, I don't know how they come with those flus, because these birds or African cattle anymore are there. Africans didn't affected by these flus from their chickens or their cattle, but they lived very well. But when the Western power, when you discover, for instance, when you discover minerals, all these chickens will be affected by floods. The day you discover minerals on your country or somewhere in your homeland or in your country, that's the day you find that these chickens, cattle are being affected. You see, for instance, you see we have Congo. Congo is one of the countries that's being affected by unknown diseases. Why? Because Congo is so rich. So every almost after a certain time, you find the people of Congo facing some diseases, unknown diseases. Why? Because Congo is so rich. Even here in the continent of Africa, these chickens have no problems. They don't have flu. People are saying, oh, you know, there's a flu of chicken flu or whatever. They come with those ideas. But we are living with these chickens many years. No one is dying because of chickens. No one dies because of cattle. But now you see, if we discover things, the Western came with those things. Your chickens as flus. These flus are dangerous. Your cattle are going this and this. All those are just because they want to make money and to control things on the ground. So we need to be vigilant. We need to be careful. We need to wake up as the people of Africa. And that's why always I'm saying there's a need for African countries to come together, to have our own specialists, to have our own doctors. So we need to come together. That's the only solution I think we can tackle those challenges. But you know, there's something that our Africans maybe sometimes we don't understand. Africa is a continent that is so blessed. We have everything natural. But the Western are trying to introduce their own things to make money through our weaknesses. For instance, you see here, I have these chickens. You see these chickens here, they are finding their own food. But the Western have introduced broiler species. The broiler species cannot find their own food. It is just, you keep them for almost maybe 1 month, but you need to feed them, you need to vaccinate them, you need to protect them for everything. So you see, it means those who came with such a kind of species, broiler species, they came with the idea that they can make money through vaccine, they can make money through food production, and those money are going to the West, you see. But if you keep our own chickens here, as you see, these natural African chickens, they find their own food, they survive in all environment. You cannot keep broiler here. Broiler will die if you keep in such kind of environment. But our natural chickens are surviving in this kind of environment. The same to the cattle that the people of Kenya are worrying, that our cattle are survived for millions of years since God created this continent, and we didn't see our cattle being affected much. And why you want to vaccinate this time? Why you want to vaccinate those cattle? So, but all in all, the aim of the government is good to protect cattle from diseases, but the people of Kenya are still worrying. And I want to hear from you why the West, they love Africa. They come with these drugs. They try to protect our things, but all in all, and now they have come with genetically modified food. Do you think Africa will need genetically modified food? But if you look here, for instance, where I'm staying from, we have everything so natural. Africa is a blessed continent with natural things, but because of politics and business involved in the continent, the Western have get a chance to introduce their own things, trying to destroy our natural things, and that's what they are doing. And after destroying, they are going to make a lot of money. You see, I think you remember during the COVID how the Africans suffered. So they make a lot of money. They force African countries to go to IMF and the World Bank to take loans. Why? Because Africa, we don't have our own things. So let us protect our own species. Let us see how we can remain with our own things. Those who are introducing their own ideas, they have their own purpose, their own idea, they know what they want, but let us try to protect our own things here in the continent of Africa. For instance, my dear kings and queens, let me share one thing another on top of that. You see, I'm here in this garden. What I'm doing here is to cover the land. You see the land with these grasses. These grasses has two purposes. First of all, is to protect the sunlight from hitting direct on the ground. Then to keep humidity for plants here. So then this, after protecting and keeping humidity, also at a certain time these grasses will be spoiled and become manure. You see, Africa, we have been suffering with a shortage of fertilizer after Russia and the Ukraine entered into conflict. But you see, why Africans didn't use cow dung and some remains from chickens to fertilize their lands to make sure that they can conduct agriculture, instead of waiting Russia and Ukraine to solve their conflict, then starting supplying fertilizers, or going to Russia and Ukraine begging for food. So we can use our own things. So these grasses are going to become manure. We have cows, cow dungs are going to become manure. So we can use artificial manure instead of this organic manure, or instead of using fertilizers. We can grow our own food. And what you see here, these trees, these fruit trees and vegetables that we grow here are being using these artificial manure. We are using cow dungs, grasses, and chickens' remain to fertilize the land and to make sure that we support this small kind of agriculture that we are doing here. So we are not using Western fertilizers, we are not using Russian or Ukrainian fertilizers or anything from outside. We are using our own manure here. So it is possible, it is possible. The problem of Africa that we have, we want to be like Europeans. And that's why one day I said, you know, sometimes we want Africans, we bleach our color, we want to look so whitey, we want to do everything like white people. We are not happy with the way Africans looks like. Even in other lives, when we are doing things, we want to do things like Europeans. We want to do things like Chinese. And through that, Africa, we are losing. We are losing money, we are losing intelligence, we are losing everything. So my dear kings and queens, as you see, as I said, we are trying to use solutions that we have, natural solutions that we have here in the continent of Africa to solve our challenges. So even Kenyans can find also the way to solve challenge of maybe disease of their cattle naturally. You see, not artificially, naturally, because those cattle are there since then. So it is not for the first time the cattle to be in Kenya. So I think it does, and we need to be careful about these businessmen and women like Bill Gates and the others, because they are making money. They are making money. So here, if I have been to put fertilizers, I have to take a lot of money, or to spend a lot of money to support this garden. But I didn't try to use fertilizer. I use this manure, this organic manure, to make sure that we support plants and fruits here in our garden. So we have solutions and we need to implement solutions. You know, my dear kings and queens, our ancestors, those who have been lived in villages or in rural areas, or those who have got the opportunity to go to their grandfathers, grandmothers. In Africa, when we grow sweet potatoes, the way the Africans or our ancestors being used, they take grasses, these grasses. You see, Africa is covered with a lot of grasses. Like this, they took this kind of these grasses, then they create pits here, they put like this, then they cover up with the sand, then here at the top they put plant here. the plant of sweet potatoes. Why? Because here these grasses, after a certain time, it is going to spoil and become manure. So there's no need to use fertilizers. So after maybe 1 year, those grasses will be disappeared and become the fertilizers. And that's what our ancestors has always been used to to support their own agriculture without any kind of fertilizers. They use cow dung, they use chicken's remains and the grasses to fertilize the land. But nowadays, you see, Africans, we cannot grow food without fertilizers. So we need fertilizer from Russia, we need fertilizer from somewhere else. So we use a lot of money. But those money can be go to infrastructures to improve our lives, because these grasses are there, cows are there, chickens are there, as you see. You see, they have remains. Even there, they put their own remains there. So I'm sure they put their dungs there. It fertilizes the land. It fertilizes the land, and that's why we are saying that Africans, we have solutions. The problem that we have, we don't believe in yourself. We want to do things like Europeans. So you know why the Europeans are using fertilizers? Because in Europe it's too cold, so crops are growing very slow. But in Africa it's too hot. Crops can grow within a short time. But Europeans are trying to force, or Western countries are trying to use fertilizer to make things grow fast. Why? Because it is too cold for them, and some crops cannot grow very fast, and that's why they are boosting with fertilizers and the other kind of drugs that sometimes is not good for our health. So, but in Africa, God has given everything. You see, the sun is blazing, the sun is shining, everything. Cattle, animals are just, birds are just enjoying here in the continent of Africa. But the problem of Africa is that we want to do things like Europeans. We don't believe in ourselves. We believe in others. We want to do like others they are doing. And that's why I'm saying, and I will continue to say this, Africa, we must stop copying and paste from the Europeans or from the Western power, from the Eastern power. Let us do things in African ways. And that's how Africa will grow and become respected. So, my dear kings and queens, I've spoken many things, but the aim is to share what we can do as the people of Africa, to believe in ourselves, to make sure that we come up with solutions. We cannot rely on Bill Gates solutions. We cannot rely on Western solutions. When Bill Gates is saying this is good, we cannot go and implement. Bill Gates is a person like others, so we cannot everything trust Bill Gates. So I think we need to wake up. And of course, you know, these things that is happening in Africa, it is because of politics. If we can control our politics, if we can control our economy, I'm sure Africa can move in the right direction. So, kings and queens, let us enjoy your day. And of course, I'm waiting to hear from you. What is your opinions? What is your perspective from what you heard? But all in all, my dear kings and queens, we are here to find the best solutions. We have solutions we need to implement, and that's what we are doing here. And that's why we are saying African solutions for African problems. So, have a nice time. See you next time. Bye.